I need something to wear to a medieval fair. I'm going to make a hat. A witch's hat. Hello, it's Icy, that's right, back again with another sewing video this time, and I'm going to make a witch's hat. So last year, video linked in the corner, I went to a medieval fair, which is a decent drive away from where I live, but still within the confines of Sydney, so accessible within reason. I made a medieval vibed little stays kind of thing, vest adjacent thing to wear, and it looked great, and I figure, well, I'll just wear that again. However, I want to add something to that as a costume. So what I thought was, what if a witch's hat would work quite well, because then I can use that with a various medieval vibe. I can use that for a witch vibe at some point as well. Sure, we are months early for Halloween, but it's okay. We still can do this. It's fine. It's fine. And also I can have it work probably with the Victorian outfit as well. I think that would be a witchy Victorian is a totally an option. So I did a bit of Googling to work out what's the best proportions and vibes for hats and patterns, and discovered pretty much a semicircle, well, no, not a semicircle, a part circle with 120 degrees, so a third of a circle, gives you a good conal shape that's not too pointy and not too flat, a nice in between. Something like a 5.5-5 inch brim should give a good look. So I have worked out and drawn up a pattern. So head dimension, it's 57 if it sits down here, which we don't want, because I do want to keep this more in the Victorian vibe. So certainly with the Victorian vibe, hats sit higher on the head, and I have noticed that certainly I look better in a hat if it's up. Because I can probably put like a tie or something to keep it on my head, because obviously I do not have hair that can have a pin stuck through it. So there's no real way apart from the hat itself to keep it on my head, but I think we'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, fine. It'll be fine. So, I have drawn up a pattern with the assumption 55 centimeter head size. Now, the other thing with this pattern, and actually all of the witch hat patterns that I found, they're all based on the fact that, like, the center hole that you cut out is a circle. People's heads are obviously not circles, but it's okay, because the effect of making it on a circle and then putting an oval head into a circular hat just gives the brim like some flow and some kick. So that is fine, because that, I think that should give me like more of a cool looking hat, as opposed to just like flat, straight, which is not what we're after. So that's fine. I did think about it. So we have a drawing. Wow, is that, let's see how we go. Okay, so the way you work this out is you take your head size and you place it on part of the circle. So at this stage, all we know is the actual length here. So this is 55. Now, as I've already said, I'm using a third of a circle, or 120 degrees. So for the full circumference, we just take 55 and times it by 3, which is equal to 165 centimeters. I'm not great with maths in the head. This is not great. So now we have a circumference of 165, and then we can use a circle, the formula for calculating radiuses of circles, which is, no, that's area, 2 pi r. Yeah, so, and then you can algebra it out, or, which is what I did as well, because it's much more convenient, find yourself a circle calculator on the internet, and then you can just put in whatever numbers you know, and it will give you the missing one. So then you can put in 165, or whatever your head circumference times 3 is, and it will spit back out what your radius is. So that's the one side. So according to this, I've got approximately 26.25 centimeters here. So then you draw your big part circle out. In fact, you only need to draw half of it. And then cut it out on the fold, and then add, a few centimeters on either side and across the bottom for the hemming. So don't forget to add that, because these measurements, of course, will give you the final pattern size as opposed to the cutout size. Then, of course, you need a circle for a brim as well to work out what you want. So now, how do we have to work this out again? Yeah, okay. So then we're going to take, so we've got our 55 here. So for the brim, this 55 is the complete circle rather than just part of the circle. So we use the same calculator, put that in and say, okay, so if I have a circumference of 55, what's my radius? So the inner number. And that for here is approximately, I approximated, they're not exact, 8.75 centimeters. So that's the size of the interior hole. Now, of course, it's not, because I need to leave some hemming. So it's probably, I'm going to cut out that center hole of a radius. So from the center point to the edge, like that, of about 7 centimeters probably. Because that way I can adjust it as necessary as well. Then you just need to work out how wide you want your brim. And so I have said 14 centimeters here. And then just add that and then just make the circle so you've got 14 centimeters. So that's a total size of a circle of 8.75 plus 14, which is 22.75. So let's say 23 centimeters for the total size. Now, I think that should work quite well, because I'm thinking about rules of thirds. So we've got, say, 26 centimeters here, and then the brim is 20. Well, that 23. Maybe make that slightly smaller. Anyway, I might, as long as I make it bigger, I can always bring in the brim as necessary, because you can easily cut it smaller after you've cut it out. So that's my plan. Now, you can see some scribbles on here as well. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is to add some soutache design to the front of the peak of the witch's hat, which I think would look awesome. I think that would be really, really cool, and I have some fantastic decoration. Now, I do not have any more purple. I still have 23 meters of the white soutache left. I don't have any that's currently dyed purple. So that's the first step. The first step is to dye a bunch of soutache into purple, the same as the Victorian jacket, which is not going to show up in this light, and that way I can wear it with this as well. So I don't know. So the vest slash whatever fake stays that I made, they're actually in maroon drill, and I do have maroon drill as well. So I haven't absolutely finally decided, am I making a black witch's hat or am I making a maroon witch's hat? To be honest, possibly, I was thinking, do I make a reversible witch's hat where it's black on the outside and maroon on the inside, and then I can turn it inside out? Maybe, but I was thinking it'd be quite uncomfortable to have soutache like pressing on the front of your head. I don't think that's a great vibe. So perhaps eventually I may have both a maroon witch's hat and a black witch's hat. I do actually have some black soutache braid as well. So, you know, we could use that on the maroon hat. That could be an option too. So, what else do we need? Oh, hat wire. Conveniently, on the last visit to Reverse Garbage, picked up some millinery wire. So we set for that too. I already have black drill, which is my plan for the black hat, and as I said, the maroon drill. I already have sufficient amounts of interfacing slash buckram, not like heavy duty buckram, but just kind of like light sew in, not light, it's still heavy weight, but not as heavy as like your standard hat stuff. Anyway, I think I have enough stiffening materials basically. And I already have the dye, so I can dye the soutache without any issues. And I have the rest of today, which is Sunday, and then one full weekend, well, you know, apart from all of the other things we do, and then the following weekend is the fair. So hopefully we can get all this done in time, and hopefully it looks good, you know, maybe. So that's the plan. We make a witch's chapeau hat thing, not too tall, see how it goes. Hopefully it looks fabulous and glamorous, and then we wear that to the medieval fair. But anyway, wish me luck. Just a quick little progress. Oh my god. It's cute. It's really cute. It's gorgeous. I did decide to put the peak on. I'm actually not 100% sure. Looking in profile, I don't know. I figured I needed to have the bump at the back to go over the head. I guess it sort of sits like this, but I wanted it to... Oh, I mean, that's fine. I can bend it. Very much a wizard's cap without the brim, but it's cute. Soutache turned out beautifully. So, it's coming together. Next step, I've already cut out the brim, which is actually a lot bigger than I thought, but it looks very glamorous. It's very wide, but I think it's okay. And I've got the linings. I'm going to trim it with the piping, the purple piping that I've used on the jacket. So as well around the where the hat joins the brim and on the outside of the brim, I think is the plan. So yeah, it's going well. I am pretty pleased. There are a few things I would change if I made another one, and you know, it's entirely possible. But let's talk about the good things. So the brim size, wow. Bigger than I expected, but truly the glamour is like loving, absolutely loving. I modified the shape of the top, the crown, to put the little fold back point. Good, really good. Super glad I did that. I think that's really nice. The soutache, goodness me, does that not work beautifully as a decoration for a witch's hat? Holy dolly. Yes, thank you. The piping at where the crown joins the brim, we're gonna hope they're the right terminology. I think they are. Good, and around the edging, also good. Loving the magenta lining. And there is I don't know if it's gonna pick up. There's a slight paisley in the magenta lining as well. So all really great. Things I learned that I would change later if I make another one. So I didn't actually join the wire together properly. And as I was continuing to work on the hat, the ends of the wire started to poke through the fabric. So I sort of had to sew like anchor it. You can actually see maybe a little bit of wire poking through there, and sort of an anchor I've got here to like hold it together. So that was a mistake, which I will know to fix for next time. And by the time I realized this was a problem, it was too late. It was very much too late. So while trying on the crown on my head, not sewn onto the brim, the size seemed great, just sitting kind of I didn't want it here. I did one on the back of my head and sort of smaller. Once I'd sewn it into the brim, it's like it lost 2 centimeters pretty much. The sewing onto the brim is very not great because I put the wire into the brim before I sewed the crown onto the brim. And that's because I chose that because I wanted the piping, and then I wanted to push the wire in and then sew it down, because I thought that would give a neater, better result. But it did make other parts of the job harder and messier. So probably it would have been better to put the wire in afterwards. But with the piping and all the other bits, I wasn't sure I could get a good result, but I think I probably would have been better to do it that way, even if the result around the brim was not as nice. So with those things combined together, I've lost like 2 centimeters, it feels like, out of the crown. So that's something I would do in future. I would actually start probably with another, just a bit bigger than I was planning, so that once all the extra layers and everything are in place, it's actually going to sit well. And I think you could control where it sits on the head as well. Like if you I've seen hats with like a drawstring inside the hat band. So I think you could use that to control it. If it was slightly too big, you could sort of have a drawstring in the hat and in the lining, just to have it sit on top of the head slightly higher as well. So I think that would be fine. But yeah, in general, pretty good. The brim was not stiff enough. So initially I had one layer of what was called heavy iron-on interfacing on the drill, and one light layer on the lining fabric. The lining fabric's really lightweight, so I didn't want to put like a heavier one on there because I thought it would look weird. But what I should have done, I actually needed to use an even heavier iron-on interfacing, and then just cut a circle and then like shove it in after everything was sewn together and sort of iron through. It definitely, for a brim this wide, and I did not want a sort of a floppy hat, I needed a lot more interfacing than I needed. And also a single row of milliner's wire around the outside was not enough. I actually had to put a second loop. So keep that in mind if you want to make something with a brim this big as well. The ribbons are cute, and I think now essential. I mean, I was always going to put ribbons because it was always going to be small, and it wasn't like I was going to have a hat pin to secure this on the head. So we were always going to need to use ribbons. But I'm happy I had a little bit of velvet ribbon, so it's worked good. So we do this, and we all relatively secure, so at least the hat won't blow away if it's windy. So I am very pleased. Did not take too long. So a good small project if it's something that you're looking for. Totally the wrong time of year. Nowhere near October, but this way at least now I have a hat, an actual decent proper witch's hat for October, which makes me happy. And I learned a lot, and never know, I might make another one. But Have you made a witch's hat before? Let me know in the comments below. Have you made hats in general? Because obviously now I need like an actual Victorian hat that I can wear with the Victorian outfit. So this is certainly designed to work with this, which is fine, but I need probably something that's less witchy and more just straight Victorian. I've had some ideas, but I don't think we won't do hats next. What's next? I don't know. So we'll see whatever project is on the list and takes my fancy and then springs into life in my mind. I don't know how this stuff works. But thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel very glamorous. Oh, at some point there will be a small video of the Ren. No, it's not a Ren fair. It's a medieval fair. So yeah, that'll be fun. So that will be on the channel at some point. But once again, thank you so much for joining me. You can find me also on the socials, mostly at Threads and Mastodon. Do come over and say hello if you're there. Links are in somewhere in the description, I think. And I would love to chat with you there. If you haven't, please do throw us a follow here on YouTube. It's very much appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time.